Happy holidays, everyone. At stnutrition.com, we're giving you 20% off of every single thing on the website. So you go to stnutrition.com and you're going to type in promo code HOLIDAYS. So when you go to checkout, type in the promo code HOLIDAYS and you're going to get 20% off every little thing on the website. Supplements, swag items, everything that we have on there, 20% off. So go ahead, go to stnutrition.com today, save some money for this holiday season, and help support us, and, tell your friends about us. Happy holidays, guys. What's going on, guys? So today on the Strong Tower podcast, we got my boy Carlos Thomas Jr. So we actually met back in 2014, and I actually stood on the same bodybuilding stage as him, which blows my mind because to look at where he's at now and to see where I'm at, like we've taken two different roads, probably in the same realm though of fitness and health. So he's on his way to becoming a pro bodybuilder, where it's not an easy thing because getting into bodybuilding, you're not making as much money and all that kind of stuff. So with him, he actually has a separate goal set for himself, which is what I really wanted to dive into. And we got a huge perspective and different kinds of insight to what he does outside of bodybuilding, which is what I really wanted to know. And the things that he does, it's mind-blowing to me because I had no clue. And so I hope you guys are interested. I hope you guys let it impact you in your life and, find some advice that you could take from it, or, maybe like a new motivation or new drive, because this dude, man, he's been driven since day one, it seems like. And I've never seen someone be so passionate and so driven about school and then also with bodybuilding. So, put your headphones in, check it out on YouTube, and here it is, Strong Tower Podcast, Carlos Thomas Jr. Alright, so I was gonna call you by your Instagram name, yeah. I was gonna say, we have Carlos Thomas Jr. Do people call you that, or just say Carlos Thomas?
It's just Carlos Thomas.
Carlos Thomas. Okay.
Yeah, it's just Carlos Thomas, or they'll call me Los.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
because that's what Alex and Mike said. I was like, Los. They were like, Carlos. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's right. He does train at that Retro.
Yeah. I started training there when the other gym that we went to closed down.
Oh, Total.
Total, yeah. So I ended up going to Retro.
So what's going on in your life right now besides bodybuilding?
Well,
we talked about it before, but
yeah. Well, besides bodybuilding, I'm actually graduating from Villanova University with my master's degree in communication and public relations. I finished the program in 2 weeks, but the graduation will be in May. Everything's wrapping up right now. So working, as we discussed before, working at University of Pennsylvania, communications team on there. I'm actually giving a presentation tomorrow for an outreach campaign that we're doing, just to kind of get more awareness and for Alzheimer's and recruiting more African Americans for our clinical research trials.
Right.
So that's part of what I do there too, which I didn't tell you earlier. But
right, that's cool, man. So you played football in college before, right? So are you going to Villanova for your bachelor's?
No, my master's.
Master's, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, didn't you play college? Where did you play college football at?
Yeah. So I played college football at I started out at Wagner College.
Okay.
In Staten Island, the Division I AA, like Delaware.
Okay.
And then I transferred to a smaller school, McDaniel College, in Westminster, Maryland. Mm-hmm. So that's where I played most of my college football and where I got my bachelor's degree in communications as well.
Yeah.
So,
what got you into? Have you been playing football your whole life?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't start playing football until I was like 14, 15.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, before that, I played like baseball, and I played like a little bit of like soccer, like youth sports like that. But I didn't really get into football until I was like 14, 15. I did a little bit of martial arts too.
Okay.
Before that. But once I played football, it was like everything else went to the wayside.
Yeah.
And I was just so, involved with trying to get bigger, trying to get faster.
Right,
and,
yeah.
I just love football, and also did track too.
Okay. And did you grow up around this area or like in Philadelphia or something?
Oh no, I grew up right up in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
In like a little town of like West Wilmington called Browntown.
Okay.
And then when I got older, I moved to like the north side of Wilmington, not too far away from Slazianum High School.
Okay.
Which is like a pretty big high school around
Yeah.
there. So yeah, that's where I mostly grew up, was right in Wilmington.
Where'd you go to high school at?
It's funny. I went to like 3 different high schools.
Okay.
Because I got moved around a bit.
Yeah.
So I started out at Newark High School.
Okay.
For my freshman year. My sophomore year, I ended up transferring to Concord High School. And then I finished my last 2 years, my junior and senior year, at Brandywine High School.
Oh, okay. Man, so we went all of them.
Yeah, 3 high schools, 2 colleges.
Did you play football at all the high schools?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Each year I played football. I was a running back, and I played defense, too.
Okay.
I keep telling myself, if I was like 6 foot, I would have probably been an NFL linebacker.
Yeah.
Because I just love defense. But,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was born 5'6".
Yeah.
And so I played running back.
There you go.
Yeah.
But were you recruited for football, or did you walk on?
Oh, yeah. I was a preferred walk-on is what they called it.
Okay.
So they like wanted me to play, but they weren't going to give me any money, right?
Right.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So so I was like, okay, so I'll try it out. Went to Wagner, and it was pretty interesting, and the football culture there, but it was definitely kind of like not my scene as far as like the social atmosphere.
Right.
So it was like too large of a campus for me, I felt like.
Okay.
So that's why I went to a smaller school. I felt like it was more community. It was kind of like you knew most of the people that you saw walking around campus. So yeah, I guess like a bigger school just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
For that.
Okay. And then did you ever have like any dreams to like play something more than college, or you just knew like I'm not that good or something?
You know what? Yeah, man. Like I think every person wanted to go to the
that's
NFL,
what I'm saying. Everyone wants to go to NFL.
Yeah, of course I had my favorite like running backs and everything. I always watched. I love like Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Eric Dickerson, just loved all the good running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, coming up around when I was playing, it was like LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson and things like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
But once I got to college and I got to like my junior year, I was like, man, like this is legit. And I knew like to keep pushing, like I had no problem working harder to get to the NFL or do anything like that.
Right.
But I was like, okay, this is gonna take a lot of work. So I entered my junior year of college, and I was set up to be sharing some time with the starting running back, and I was very excited. But I think about maybe the third game in, I injured my neck.
Okay.
So that kind of was like a calling card for me to kind of bow out of football.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, there's probably something else for me.
Yeah.
But I loved weightlifting.
Right.
So I love weightlifting more than definitely more than I love playing football.
Right.
So I was like, well, I still got the weight room and I'm still going to be there.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, do I do like powerlifting, or do I do like some Olympic lifting? Because I was good at doing like hang cleans and snatches and power cleans.
Yeah.
Or, do I do some, like I said, some powerlifting, because I'm pretty strong for my size and my weight at the time. So, yeah, and at that point I knew football wasn't in my future. So I knew I was going to do something involved with like the weight room.
See, I wish I was like that. But so I played soccer, and my senior year, the soccer team was going to be awful because all the good guys all left. And all my friends were on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, come play football, you know?
Yeah.
And the whole summer I was lifting with the football team. I was the only soccer player to do that because I wanted to get better, you know? And it was always like, I always had this complex where I look in the mirror and I want to be bigger. Because, again, like, I was always the shorter one and stuff like that, and I can't make myself taller. So I was like, okay, I can make myself, you know, bigger and stronger, whatever. But I did not like it. Man, when he was the strength and conditioning coach would yell at me and stuff like that, I'm like, and I would be so sore. Like, I would only be there for upper body days because the next day I'm like, nope, I'm not doing lower body because I can't even walk.
Yeah,
like,
your legs will be trash.
I was like, I can't do this. And coach would be like, hey, Emmerich, where were you? Blah, blah, blah. You missed lifting. I'm like, I'm sore, man. Like, you know, so it actually took me a while to actually, like, fall in love with it, you know. And I took a strength and conditioning class in my school. It was, no one did it. It was at 6 a.m.
Jeez.
And my dad was already at school because he was a teacher, so he had to be there for meetings and stuff. So it was me and this other girl. This other girl was, like, really good at martial arts, and she wanted to play football. Like, she was strong as hell.
Wow.
Like, she was leg pressing, like, over 1,000 pounds.
She's kicking ass.
And I was like, I was watching her. I was like, I can't do that. Because I was just using the class as, like, to sleep or do my homework that I didn't do, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, the middle of the year, I think I was like, all right, I think I want to start lifting.
Yeah.
You know? And I started doing it. And then I started getting noticed. Like, the girls started noticing my arms. And I was like, hey, let's go. You know? And then after that, I stopped for a while, and then fast forward to, like, I think I was like 19, and I was doing security, and I was getting, so on my break I would have a couple cigs, I would have a Monster and a honey bun on my break. Yeah,
okay,
disgusting. And so I was buying it, and this girl that was ringing me up, she poked me in my stomach. She was like, "Oh, Ben, you're getting a belly." After that, next day, chicken and rice. Like, I was back on, you know, what I knew. Yeah. You know, and then at the age of 23, decided to do my first, like, bodybuilding show. Yep. And, you know, I fell in love with it, man. Like, but that's all I did. So I think I kind of burnt myself out because I was eating, I was sleeping, everything I watched on TV, I was like, Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, Kai Green. Like, that's all I watched was those guys. I didn't watch like ABC or MTV or none of that. Like, I was watching bodybuilding. I was learning how to pose. Right. My first show, my family was like, "How'd you learn how to do that?" I was like, "Monkey see, monkey do." Yeah, I watched and watched over and over. Sean Ray posing, like, that kind of stuff, man. Like, so how did you kind of find your way into that?
So along with, like, football, like, I kind of always was really into, like, I guess, like, the mental approach to things, and how, like, you know, how your thoughts can kind of influence, you know, how your perspective. Right. And so, oddly enough, I forgot how, but, like, I found, like, a Kai Green video. Yeah. And I guess he's, like, one of the most cerebral bodybuilders you can ever find. Yeah. You know, so I was like, all right, I like the way this guy talks. Yeah. And at first I was kind of, he's talking in circles. Yeah, he does. But, he does. So I was like, nah, you know what? He's kind of talking some things that are relevant to, like, you know, what I like, just, you know, passion for something, and, you know, putting your all into something. And at the time, it was like football for me. Yeah. And I was like, man, I got that passion for that. I'm going, you know, football. I'm going to put everything I have into it. But when I hurt my neck, I was like, wow, like, do I just keep running track and, you know, finish up my college career as a track athlete, and, you know, that's, you know, so on and so forth, and that's it. But, like, I thought to myself, I was like, well, you know, I can try to give, like, bodybuilding a shot. I was like, why not? So, you know, being from Delaware, I guess, like, one of the most known pros here was, you know, Fred Smalls. So, you know, I fell in league with him, and ended up doing my first bodybuilding show. You know, obviously we were in the same show. So I ended up doing my first bodybuilding show, and, you know, like, won my, like, one weight class and things like that. Yeah. And then I did another show that year, like 2 weeks later. I did Team Universe. Okay. Yeah. And I came in like fourth in my class. And then again I did then I did the Team Collegiate Masters in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
You know, so I did 3 shows like right back to back, and loved it, man. Just fell in love with it. And I came in second in the light heavies at like 180 pounds, like 179 pounds. I came in second there at the collegiates, and then I tore my ACL. So I was like, so that kind of.
You tore your ACL lifting or just doing something like?
You know what? It was like very, very odd. It was like a wet parking lot.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah, an icy parking lot
man.
later on in the year, you know, when the ice started developing and stuff like that. So it was just bad luck, man. Just bad luck. So, yeah, that was like how I kind of got into bodybuilding and things like that, you know. And I just, from there on, I was just like, this is something that, you know, I can be good at. And, you know, people are always saying, like, man, you got great legs and things like that. And I was like, well, you know, maybe I can be good at that. You know, I couldn't go pro in football, but this is something I can go pro in.
Yeah. And then was there anyone, because all I heard was about your legs.
Yeah.
And then when I finally saw pictures, I was like, what?
Yeah, man.
Dude, one of your legs is bigger than me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so was there anyone that, like, went against the grain, was like, no, you have these things wrong with you. You have to do this, this, and that.
Yeah, definitely. It was, you know, when I got linked up with Fred, you know, he was like, oh, your legs are great. But he always gave me like workouts and things like that to work on my back and, you know, bring up my chest and other things like that. And, you know, it's always like a work in progress.
Yeah.
You know, it never stops.
Right.
And it's like just now, you know, like years later, that, you know, everything's starting to become proportionate.
Yeah.
My upper body's catching up with my legs.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm working with my buddy Kyle Smith.
Okay.
From Full Access Fitness.
Okay.
And yeah, he's amazing. He trains me day in and every day. We hit the gym. You know, don't matter what time it is. You know, sometimes it's late like this. We'll get in the gym late. Sometimes it's early in the morning. He works with my schedule. So, yeah, that he's helping, you know, me, you know, bring up those lagging body parts, like my back, like my chest. So, yeah, there was, like, people in the beginning, like I said, like my first coach who was like, hey, you have to really work on bringing these up to be a good bodybuilder.
Right.
You know, you can't just be, you know, legs will get you noticed, like a body part.
Definitely.
You know, like a good ass will get a girl noticed.
Exactly.
But, you know what I mean? Exactly. What else is going on?
Yeah.
So that's just like me. Like my legs got me noticed, but, you know, what else can I bring, you know, to being a good bodybuilder?
Yeah. So what would you say? Is there anything particular about bodybuilding that has really like changed your life outside of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
So like for me, it was I wasn't like that disciplined or anything, you know. But getting into bodybuilding and really taking in that lifestyle, it changed my drive. It changed my discipline and everything else that I do. You know what I mean? So like, how did it affect you at all?
I feel the same way.
Right.
I feel that when I'm like, you know, bodybuilding, that everything else just becomes, my world becomes like smaller, you know, so like everything becomes scheduled, like a little bit more disciplined. When I was in like college, I remember, I ate whenever I wanted to eat, you know, and I ate whatever I wanted, you know, it didn't matter what it was. But when I started bodybuilding, like everything else kind of fell into place with bodybuilding. It was like, okay, you got to get up to do your cardio. Okay, you got to get up to get your meals in. All right, you got to go get your homework done at this time. And then now, like, as I'm working, it's like, all right, you got to get up, you know, pack your meals for work, you know, things like that. You know, you got, okay, what time you going to get to the gym? All right, you're going to get to the gym at 9. Let's make sure you get the workout in so you can get to bed early. Make sure you get your meals in. And it just makes my life so more, like when I'm bodybuilding, I'm like a well-oiled machine. Yeah. You know, like everything else just like flows. And it gets even better when I'm like contest prepping. Yeah. Because in contest prep, everything
tracking every little thing, man.
Yeah, everything becomes like just tracked to the T. So yeah, that's what like I think bodybuilding has done to me. Same as you. It's given me like that discipline. But you know, it also teaches me, you know, sometimes you have to relax a little bit. You know, you go 100 miles an hour, you'll burn out. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I kind of learned from bodybuilding.
So are you one of those? I never really had problems eating, but do you like to eat? Because there's guys that hate it.
You know what? I love to eat. Like I'm like I feel like I'm a foodie because like I love trying different foods. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, me too.
You put it in front of me, I'll eat it, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. You know what I mean? There's rarely anything I hate.
Right.
So yeah, I love food, man. And like even when I'm not hungry, like I just eat. Yeah. You know, like it's never been like a problem for me to like just put down food. But this time around, my off season, I'm a little bit more strict with sticking to the plan. Before, I would kind of I'll have a meal like this. I'll have Chipotle instead of my planned meal. Right. But now, I'm pretty sticking to my plan, and I'll have maybe 2 cheat meals a week or something like that. But as far as like appetite, I have no issue with eating or anything like that, dude.
Is that because like you notice how close you are?
I think so, man. Like I recently hooked up with Dorian Hamilton in Canada. In the Toronto area. Yeah. He has a great gym up there in Burlington. And if you get a chance, bro, visit that gym, Pure Muscle and Fitness. Like, it's like it's the mecca of like the North. You know what I mean? That's what they call it. It's crazy, man. So I linked up with him following my last contest prep for a show I was getting ready for. Didn't make it to the show. Right. Just because of some health reasons. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go with him and just kind of revamp my whole off season. And definitely geared towards making a legitimate run at getting my pro card next year.
Next year. Okay.
So well, we haven't decided on a show yet, but we're gonna pick one soon enough.
Yeah, man. So what else you got going on like outside of bodybuilding? Like, are you like what do you do for like fun?
So I guess like for fun.
Well, I mean, I know lifting and stuff is fun.
Yeah, lifting
but
stuff
like
is
outside
fun.
of that,
outside of that, dude. Like I have like 2 dogs, like 2 miniature schnauzers.
Oh, okay.
And I love spending time with them. Yeah. Either if we're like not like if we're just relaxing, then they're on the couch with me. If not, then we're going on walks. But yeah, I mean, I do like to travel a little bit here and there, visit different places. Yeah. So that's something I like to do when I get the time. But I do like to kick back a little bit. Like I'll go out with a few of my friends, but we'll go to like the bar. I don't really drink too much anymore, but I still go out for the social aspect. Yeah. Hang out with my coworkers a little bit. Sometimes they have like they go to happy hour and stuff like that, or we'll go like there's like a bowling event going on. So like or some classmates from my graduate classes. Sometimes we'll like all go out and things like that. So, so usually it's just hanging out with other people, trying to be social, because as bodybuilders, sometimes it's like
get it
antisocial. Yeah. So like I try to make it like one of my purpose, like one of my things is to like definitely get out and socialize a little bit. Yeah. Because you can get so wrapped up in like your routine. That's one thing about being disciplined with bodybuilding. Exactly. You get so wrapped in your routine, like you kind of forget about everything else. Yep. Which I'm guilty of doing.
I still get like that.
Yeah, but it's just like you're just dedicated to like it doesn't even matter if it's getting ready for a show. It's like it's anything that you're passionate about. If it's like work, you're like, man, I'm going all in on this work. Yeah. Like this is the end of the year, so work's picking up. Mm-hmm. It's busy, and like I was talking to my friend, and she was like, yeah, she's like, I haven't heard from you too much this week, and I'm like, I'm just busy with work. Yeah. Like I'm grinding out, at my work right now. It's not even bodybuilding that's like keeping me away. Exactly. So. That's mostly what I do is just kind of I like to read. Well, I listen to audiobooks a lot. Okay. Because my commute to work, like we talked about earlier, is like an hour. Yeah. So I'm always listening to podcasts and audiobooks. But yeah, I do try to socialize a little bit, get out there, and keep from bodybuilding taking over my life completely.
Now, do you get any like looks and stares? And I mean, I know people look at you, but do you get like guys, like especially going to a bar, because even like I'm not even close to the size of you, but like, or I wasn't like, but I had guys that wanted to fight me.
No, really?
Because like challenge me, yeah. Because I walk in and I'm like, I have a side,
big guy in the room,
you know what I'm saying? And I was like, for what? Do you get any of that or anything like?
I really don't get too much of like the negativity like that.
Oh, that's
like,
good.
Good. I've never had anyone come up and like when I'm at a bar or anything and try to start anything. Yeah. But I do just get like and maybe it's because of like this off season, I put on so much size, and I'm so lean. I got to like 241. Yeah. So waiting this morning. This is the biggest and leanest I've been like ever in my life. So I think it's just been like this like last quarter of the year that anywhere I go, like I'm getting like looks and stares, and people are asking me like, hey, like what do you do? And you know, sometimes it would happen to me before, but like now it's like I go out and it's always happened. I was out with my friend, and you know, she's a bodybuilder as well, and so we're like at the store, you know, kind of getting our chicken and rice and whatever. And like this lady walks up to her, she's like, "Are you both like in the fitness and bodybuilding?" Because she's pretty cut up and things like that too. And we're just like, wow, it just doesn't stop like every day. So yeah, but it's mostly positive, you know, people saying, wow, that's good. Because I think people can see it and be like, wow, that takes a lot of discipline to get like that. So it's kind of nice that people notice that in a good way. They're like, okay, wow, I can tell that you're just a dedicated person because of the way your body looks. Right. Because there is no other way you can look like that, you know, without putting in hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's good that, like, if someone was actually to approach you and, like, have a conversation, they'll realize that you're not like this giant like asshole that doesn't know anything. Yeah. Like you're intelligent, you could speak, like, you know what I mean? Like you're not a dummy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Like the stereotype of a bodybuilder, you know?
Yeah, like the whole like lunk type thing.
Yeah.
You know, so
like I pick stuff up and put it
down.
I hate that.
So yeah, no, I don't really get anything like that, man. Like people know, like those who know me, you know, they know I'm well educated, and like that's something that I'm very proud of. And you know, put myself in I put myself in the place to have these opportunities and take advantage of them. So, there's no way that, you know, I would try to, make myself seem, you know, less than what I am. Yeah. You know, so hey, like I'm a guy who loves to lift. Yes, I'm big, but you know, I'm also, you know, very into my education and I'm very into my work. So yeah.
Exactly. What are you into like any like? Are you like a video game person or like a movie person?
Dude,
anything like that?
Yeah. I'm like, if I in the next life, if I could be like a like a movie reviewer, dude. Yeah, like, that's something I would do, bro. Like I love movies, dude. Like that's just what I don't know.
Like old movies or just any of them, or like
any kind of movie.
Okay,
any kind of movie. Doesn't matter, old, new. If I haven't seen it, you know, I'm definitely probably gonna check it out. Yeah. So yeah, I was into video games for a little bit, like growing up, but I honestly haven't like a new Xbox 360. I haven't even touched the thing, bro. Yeah. I have like games unopened.
I'm gonna say I sold mine because I was like, I don't even use it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't even use it anymore, and it's not like nothing against them. I just don't have the want to or the time. Yeah. Exactly. Like if I have like 3 hours, I'd rather just kind of like relax a little bit and that's rarely if I have like 3 hours to like sit down to myself. Yeah. Especially if it's at the end of the night, I'm eating my meal and taking my behind the bed. Right, exactly. So yeah, but I love movies though, dude. Like, that's just what I do. Like, I had like one of those rewards, and like I get like the I think you have to watch like 3 movies in a month, 3 or 4 movies in a month to get like $10 off. Right. So like I'm constantly getting them because I go to see movies all the time. It's just I don't know. It's just always been something I enjoyed. Yeah. And I'm also pretty big in like. My my friends will tell you this, like I'm pretty big into like DC, Marvel, but like not like not just the movies though, but like the comics. Yeah. So
you're a legit fan.
Yeah, I have a I'm not too big on collecting them. I have like a few, like but I don't really like collect too many of them. But I'm really big into reading them a lot. So I have my friend. She gave me like this big encyclopedia for like of DC characters, and I like totally nerded out, and I was like so happy about it. And I was like, this is not even my birthday. This is great, dude. I used to do with my buddy from high school. We used to do a couple Comic-Cons together. Dress up a bit. So yeah, that's like a part of me. Like I haven't really focused on it too much in a while, but it's still a pretty big part of me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Because it's funny, like when people look at me, I have a lot of like resting bitch face. So when I walk around,
RBF.
People, so people think I'm constantly mad all the time. I'm like, nah. But and it's funny that you talk about like Comic-Con stuff and comic books, and because you would never think of that of yourself. You know what I mean? Like someone that doesn't know you wouldn't think of that.
Yeah.
So if it were me, you probably wouldn't guess that. I love like dramas and like romantic movies.
Oh yeah.
Like first, I have no clue. I just I don't know what it is. It
like,
just
what's your
gets
favorite
me.
one?
Dude, I don't even. What was one of my favorite ones? I think me and my wife we went to see The Vow with Channing Tatum.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real. I saw that too.
Yeah, dude. And we saw it on was it Valentine's Day or something like that in the theaters?
Yeah.
I think that was because Channing Tatum is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So my all-time favorite movie is Coach Carter.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I think that's one of my all-times. I love the sports
Underrated,
movies too.
but it's good too.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I love the sports movies.
Yes.
That really gets you going, and you can learn stuff from it too. Like, I was really big into movies. Like, actually, I was watching all the what do they call it? The SAG Award kind of.
Oh yeah.
Those kind of movies.
Guild Award,
yeah. So I was watching all those kind of movies that aren't really popular to regular people.
Yeah.
But they're really good movies.
Yeah,
you know?
I love watching some indie films too.
Yeah.
You know that like under the radar, but they're like really good. You know, they may not have a big budget or anything,
right?
But they're really good, like quality films.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely into those like films like that as well.
Yeah, and then so I got into that for a little bit, but then I got into like Netflix started putting out like so many documentaries.
Yeah,
dude, and then ever since then I've just been like documentary crazy.
Yeah.
And I love true stories. I think that's my thing.
Yeah.
Is I just love the truth of it, and you get to learn something from it. And you're like, oh shit, that actually happened. You know, and like the making a murder stuff, and
yeah, I've seen those look ridiculous.
man, like it's something like that is actually going on in my family, where my uncle was murdered allegedly. You know, we think he was. Yeah. By his wife.
Oh.
And they just started the trial. I found out this backstage at the Maryland show
the Maryland
in 2014.
Yeah.
That he died.
Damn, dude.
That was 5 years ago, and they're just now going to trial. 5 years. You know, but it's a small town in Georgia.
Yeah.
And you know they were just dragging their feet. You know, and the defense knew they had nothing. And so, you know, I was texting my mom. I was like, "Oh, what'd you hear?" You know, and because she's in contact with like my aunt and all them that are down there at the trial and stuff. But it's sad that stuff. I thought I would only watch stuff on that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's kind of surreal when it kind of hits home a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was weird being backstage and
kind of getting the news, yeah.
You know, my sister texted me that. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It didn't affect anything because I wasn't really close to him. But it's still sad that like that had to happen.
Yeah, no, I understand. It still hits close to home with that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, documentaries. I mean, when Mike and Alex were here, we were talking about that. And there's just, I know, and I think there's more to come out for the Making a Murderer because I think it's called something convicting. I don't know. It's about someone was saying that they did it, and then they retracted it. And then a couple years later, like just recently, he said he did it again. So wild. Now I was like, dude, those guys are never gonna get out. Yeah, I was like, they might as well just make themselves at home.
Yeah, dude, those Netflix documentaries, dude. The content they put out is like wild, and I'm like, how do you even come up with things like this?
It is because like you think about it, like you're living your regular life while this kind of stuff's going on.
Yeah. I definitely think it would that like as like a culture we're kind of like we eat like even not even a culture but like we each live in like our own little sphere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever like only thing that matters is with whatever's in my sphere, my bubble. But there's really a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like those making a murder things. You're like, wait, give me a second. Like I've never heard of anything like this.
Exactly. I mean, it's like you hear, like I listen to podcasts all the time, and these guys are like famous and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And they're talking about like different things going on. They're like, oh, this world has a problem with this. I'm like, what? That's just you guys.
Yeah.
Like us down here, we don't deal with that.
Yeah. No. You're right. But yeah, that's like something I always think about. Not to delve too much into like the political atmosphere, but like, like a lot of people like think like, oh man, this is really going to change my world significantly.
But not, yeah.
But
unless you're in a certain situation.
Especially a certain situation. But chances are like not too much. Like you still got to go out here and hustle.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to change your world.
Exactly.
Some, yes, voting as well, and things like that. But like, there's like not some legislation, and people in certain situations.
Right. But
the majority, you still got to go out and hustle, man. Like some legislation, too much isn't going to change like your world.
Yeah.
But that's why like I'm always like I see my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like you come from a blue collar family too, man. Like people who go out there and get it every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get after it, and that's all. That's all I know.
Yeah.
That's all I see. Is there's not somebody in a seat that's going to change my life. It's me.
Yeah.
So I gotta go out there and do it. But yeah, that's something I always think about. But yeah.
Do you think like what's the best thing you actually well, let's put it this way. Is there someone that you look up to? Is your dad like that one person you look up to, or do you have a person like that?
Yeah, and it's definitely my dad. I mean, obviously I have his name, I mean, it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but it means something to me.
No, that's awesome, man.
So yeah, my dad is like he has his own business, HVAC, plumbing, and I just know that I've always seen him get up and he goes to work, and he always puts it in, and he always does what's best for the family and things like that. So that instilled a lot into me.
Right.
So yeah, he's like my number one fan. Him and my mom and my sister. But he's never missed a football game. He's never missed a bodybuilding show. He's never missed a track meet. Things like that. Damn. So he's definitely like the person I look up to, as far as like and a person to like emulate somewhat.
Right.
Again, I have I have bodybuilders that I can respect and look up to. But as far as a way to like go about my personal business and live my life and like a blueprint, I think like he laid out a pretty good plan, which I'm grateful for because not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have like a pretty good relationship with their father or a father in their life at all.
Exactly.
Especially in the area I'm from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
Always.
I mean, I was I'm kind of I'll take bits and pieces from my dad.
Yeah.
But then I'll take some from my granddad, and I'll take some from my my pup, and then I'll take some from just different people. I don't think there's a one person.
No.
But there's also I don't really look up to just everything into one person.
No.
I mean?
I think doing that is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like if you not to like say like use too big of a word, but if you deify a person and think of them like as like okay, this is like the end all be all and this is the epitome of how I should be, then you're gonna sadly mistaken because they're human and you're gonna get let down at some point. And that's going to crush you. Yeah. But I think if you say like what you say, hey, like if you take like okay, this good aspect of my dad's a hard worker, but my mom's very organized, and things like that. You got to take those pieces from everyone in your life that you respect and that you cherish, and I think that's their job too, to instill their best qualities in you.
Right.
But it's also your job to recognize that into people as well, and make your own of it.
Because I think it's always been, for the last couple of years, it's always been my goal to be someone that I would look up to.
I like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's funny because I heard actually Matthew McConaughey he gave like a speech.
Mm-hmm.
He says the person I look up to is myself in 10 years.
Okay. Yeah.
And people like made fun of him. They said, "Oh, he's like full of himself and he's like cocky and all this." I was like, No, I understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's that person that he wants to be in that 10 years.
Yeah.
All the things that he wants to develop in himself. Like, I work a lot on myself.
Yeah.
You know, if someone points out something to me that, like, I don't do right, or if, say my wife's, if I'm not paying attention to my wife or something like that, where there was a point in time where I was doing that. Like, I was so focused on building, not the business I have now. I had a personal training business, and I was trying to build that.
Yeah, I understand.
I was so focused on building that, I just pushed her away. She wasn't here. You know, and then I kind of realized that, and the switch went off, and I was like, oh, we got to change things up.
Yeah.
You know? So I just make sure, like, I'm just trying to, because I also have a brother and sister, and I want to be the best example I can be for them.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? And also myself. You know, but there's a bunch of people I look up to. You know, I mean, I got a picture on my wall. Dana Lynn Bailey, her husband, Rob Bailey.
Yeah.
Man, just the things that he does, I disagree with it a lot that he says or whatever. But his work ethic.
Yeah.
It's just like no one else's.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And I'm just like, that's a piece I want to take from him and then instill it in myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you definitely have to take those pieces, you know, from people and you, like you say, instill them in yourselves and make it your own. But that's good, you know, because you have to like have the ability to kind of take self inventory and to like look inward, you know, because that's where it all starts.
Exactly.
You know, and to say, you know, okay, where can I get better? Yeah. Or I like in like. I don't know, like if you like Jordan Peterson. Yeah. Like I like love it. I've been reading. You know, I read like his books and I listened to his books on the audio book, and you know, I always love, you know, like the treat yourself as like if you were like, you know, somebody you cared about. Yeah. You know, so like you have to treat yourself, you know, which is much love as if you were to treat, you know, your wife. You know, you know, you love her, so you have to treat yourself with that same love. And, you know, that takes a lot of looking inward and saying, like, okay, now how can I be better? You know, so, like, that was, like, when I started, like, this position at University of Penn. A lot of it is like, a lot of, like, writing intensive. And you know, I mean, I love writing, but it's, like, you know, I have to pass my stuff off, and it has to get, like, you know, edited by, like, one of my coworkers. And, you know, I mean, but he is, like, a journalism major in college. And, you know, I'm like, all right, well... At first, I was like, man, like, I'm going to edit my stuff. Man, my writing's good. Yeah. You know, and he comes back to me, and it's got edits all over my Google Doc. And I'm like, damn, fuck. But, you know, I have to, like, put my, like, ego to the side and be like, okay, well, okay. Like, and ask him, like, all right, well, how can I get better? Like, okay, you made these marks, but, like, how can I get better at it? And things like that. And, you know, it takes a little bit of putting that ego to the side, and like you said, man, you get so involved with something, with the way something should be. You're like, okay, well, my personal training business has to be this way, and I'm going to work on it until it is that way. Yeah. You know, and sometimes like you push things to the wayside. You know, I'm like, well, my writing's good. You know, it should be this way. Yep. And I pushed every other like alternative to like how to get better to the wayside until like, you know, I took that self check and was like, wait. All right, let me actually get better at this, and because it's going to help, you know, my job. And you're like, well, let me get better at loving my wife because it's going to help my marriage. Yep. So yeah, man, I definitely think taking that self inventory is necessary, but at the same time, not being so critical and negatively judging yourself. Right. That's big. Oh yeah, definitely. Which as bodybuilders, I think, you know, is pretty big on ourselves as well, because we're always looking at ourselves. You know what I mean? All the time. Yeah. We're constantly checking the scale. You're yourself's toughest critic. Yeah. There's no one that's going to tell you something that you haven't seen. Yeah. Checking the scale, you know, the mirror. Exactly, man. But what age do you think that you started, like, your mindset started to change? Did you always have, like, a driven mindset? I think it definitely started to change. Like I was always like driven to be like pretty good. Yeah. You know, like in my mind. But I can look back at high school and be like, I coasted through it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't push as hard as, and it sucks that it's like that. Until we, like, it had to be until I hit a wall where I was like, okay, this is unacceptable. Till like I actually like really changed my mindset, and I have to say it was like going to college actually did that for me, because like I hit like this like academic wall where like, okay, you can't coast anymore. Right. And I mentioned like how big like my education means to me. But I was like, okay, wow, you can't coast anymore. Like you have to put in the work to get something out of it. So like that's when like I really started learning to prioritize. Okay, like you can't have fun time right now, man. You got to get down and like do these papers right now. You got to go train at this time. That's when it really started to develop, was around like when I was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, if I want to get to where I want to get, then these are the things that I'm going to have to do to get there. But definitely it was kind of up until that time where I was kind of just getting by on just talent and just natural ability alone within sports and in school.
Right.
But when I got to college football, classes, courses. It was like, okay, yeah, you can't do that anymore. You got to really focus.
Yeah.
And I think every year, like every other few years, it happens for me too. Where I kind of go through like this phase of like, where I look inward again, and I'm like, okay, now you reached like this part. Now, how can you get better?
Right.
But yeah, as far as like having a mindset of being driven, I think I've always like had goals.
Yeah.
But at each point in my life, like there's always been something to kind of catapult me, further, or like a hurdle to jump over. And I don't see them, as obstacles that I can't get past. It's just, it's just something that's going to make me work harder.
Yeah.
So that's why I see this. So yeah, I've always had that kind of mindset,
right?
As if there's an obstacle in my way, I'm going to figure out a way to get past it.
Yeah.
So,
which is the opposite for me. Because I would say, if there's an obstacle in the way, I'm just gonna lay down in front of it and whatever. Because that's the way I was, man. And my parents hated it, and I failed most of high school, so I had to go to summer school every single year.
Yeah.
Failed 8th grade, had to do that twice. All this kind of stuff. I never thought I'd make it out. All that kind of stuff, and bodybuilding, man, it all goes back to that for me.
Yeah.
It really started everything that leads up to now.
Yeah.
I have this passion. I have a drive for something I've never felt in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having fun doing it.
Good.
That's what matters to me, man.
That is what matters.
I mean?
Like, that's what matters a lot.
Like, even though like I do something to make money that I don't enjoy too much, but I suck it up. Because who knows what's going to happen with this kind of stuff in the future. Like the stuff I love doing.
Yeah.
Who knows where that's going to take me. So,
dude, and I believe that a lot. Like, sometimes like, like I think my friend, he's like, and I'm gonna drop like his like Instagram name is Jizzaraw.
Okay.
Yeah, Jizzaraw, and he's like a rapper and stuff like that. And He did the same thing, man. Like he worked these other jobs. Yeah, like they weren't bad, but like he loves his music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like don't worry about that. The music's not your side hustle. The actual work is kind of like your side hustle because you're trying to make your music into something that's going to support you at one day.
Right.
So you keep working and putting time and energy into that, and you just stay that course. Keep pushing forward, even if it's like little steps. And that's how I feel about like it kind of epitomizes like my bodybuilding career so far. Mm-hmm. Is that like I've never made any big leaps. You know what I mean? Like you see people like make big leaps and they're like, wow, like this is amazing how he just like and it like happened. Like for me, I'm just like it's just steady. Just steady chopping away. Mm-hmm. But I have these other things that I'm passionate about as well. Yeah. Like I said, like my education, I got into Villanova University, and it's, one of the best schools on the East Coast.
Exactly, man.
And to me, that was an achievement that I set out for myself. I made a promise to myself. Yeah. After I finished my undergrad, I started working for myself, had my own personal training business, did very well. Mm-hmm. That was like, ultimately I had like this goal in mind. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Villanova, or I'm just going to go to graduate school, mm-hmm. and get my master's degree. And I put that into motion while I was still personal training.
Right.
Still personal training all these clients. Taking night classes, studying, reading 100 pages a week and things like that. Mm. So you're just like writing all these papers. And, doing that up until, personal training and stuff up until this year, where I actually got into like doing my other job that I'm doing now. So, man, it's just staying the course, and just hustling, dude, doing what you doing, doing the work on your craft. But, you also have to have something to support yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not all of us can jump ship and be like, yeah, we're just going all in and we'll worry about the consequences later.
And that's what a lot of people say. They're like, oh, quit your job and go do what you love or whatever. I'm like, huh?
I'm like, bro, this is life.
I'm like, yo, I still need money, man.
Yeah, I got to eat. I got a wife. I got a house. You know what I'm saying?
Boop, boop, boop.
I got to.
So I fully believe in having something that, brings in what you can live on and then do whatever you want to do on the side.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time.
And then eventually they'll switch places. Boop.
Exactly.
Where you're doing what you love becomes the main thing, and eventually you can move. You don't have to do that other job.
Yeah.
I like what I'm doing now. Working at the University of Pennsylvania, but obviously if bodybuilding takes off and gets like amazing, then doing that full time.
Exactly. Have you ever had like brands come and talk to you or anything like that, or?
Yeah. Well, recently, MHP.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, have reached out to me for like an ambassador position. But honestly, like this past fall and winter, I've been just so dedicated to finishing, my master's degree and just built, and working. Started this new job.
Yep.
So I was like, right now, like I really don't like I'm active on social media,
right.
And I'm, getting better at it.
Right.
But I was like, you know what, like that's not like what I want to do, be the main thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to, dive deep into what's important to me at this moment. My coach was like, we could do a show. Everybody's telling me do another show and do nationals in November. And I was like, man, nah, dude, I got things that are important to me that I want to get done. And I'm if they're there, if they're still here, and then that's what's meant for me.
Yeah.
But if not, then it wasn't meant for me.
Exactly.
And that's something I'm learning as I get older, is that what's meant for you, will be there.
Yeah.
But what's not, then it's not meant for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, just focused all on finishing my schooling, which I'm doing. I'm done actually. And just focusing on my new job, which I'm commuting hours for now. Looking for a new place coming up.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do the commute too much. But I have had MHP come to me, which is great opportunity. I love their products.
Yeah.
But as of right now, not too many other companies. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man. Like I told you before, man. You're like, for bodybuilding, you're so young.
Yeah.
There's rarely like anyone that makes it like. I mean, who? Like, you had Dallas McCarver, you had Seth Feroce,
Cody Montgomery and things
Cody
like that.
Montgomery, but Cody's not even really doing too much.
Yeah,
he's just now getting back into it. And are you gonna do? Would you do open or would you do 212?
I mean, right now, this is the biggest and leanest I've been at 241. Yeah. So. I think when we get down to it, I'll be, probably around that mid, between 210, between 200 and 210.
Okay.
Excuse me. So I think, for right now, 212 will be good. When I go pro.
Yeah.
Starting there, but looking at myself, I think my physique, my body. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm almost 5'7", I'll throw that in there. Almost 5'7", right?
Almost
5'7". I think my body can hold, the muscle eventually to be in an open class.
Yeah.
Making sure that I put it on the right places. Obviously, my legs are big as big as a house.
Right.
So keep putting it on the places like my chest, my delts. My arms are pretty good right now. And putting them on my back mainly, which is improving. And we're hoping to put, I 241 like I mentioned. So I'm hoping to probably get to maybe 250, maybe 255.
Okay.
because I haven't really started my growth phase right now. Yeah, we've like I've been maintaining for like 12 weeks. My coach hasn't increased food or anything like that. Yeah. Just trying to make sure that I'm healthy and everything.
Do you know how like what the range of calories, like how many in a ballpark of calories? Do you know?
Probably not, dude. No. I just stick to the paper.
Right.
But I do ask questions and things like that. But to me, I mean, obviously, it's my job just to get the food down.
Oh, definitely.
So I just focus on eating it, But the carbs I'm on, I'm not, is more than I've been on before.
Okay.
So my body's tolerating it really well. So I'm happy about that, and I'm not, getting, putting on too much body fat in all the wrong places. Yeah. So that's good, and so right now. We'll push the body weight up as long as the conditioning is looking good.
Right.
So I'm hoping to be around maybe 255 maybe by the end of this off season, and then be around probably hopefully 210, 205, 210. Yeah. And so and grab that pro card and do my first pro show in the 212. And then from there grow into like an open show or something like that later on down the lines. But yeah, 212 for sure.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, lofty goals, but you gotta make them. You gotta shoot for the stars.
Exactly, you have to. And we'll finish up with this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you what is like the best advice that someone has given you, and then also, what kind of advice would you give, like someone, not just trying to bodybuild, but like someone like that needs a drive or needs a push or something to get going in their life?
Well, I guess the best advice I've gotten in a while has been recently. I'm gonna say recently. This has been some good advice. Mm-hmm. Is like any rejection is a redirection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something that I was told. So like, and in my mind, it resonated with me because I was like, man, well, I'm no sponsors, mm-hmm. no things like that, and I was like, all right, well, it was like this sense of like, man, rejection. Mm-hmm. But it's like just a redirection for something that's better coming.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like a best advice is like always look towards, like a horizon, and that like like I mentioned earlier, what's for you will be for you, and mm-hmm. and what isn't, and that is just isn't, and that's okay. Yeah. So that's like some of the best advice that I've gotten. I got that from a buddy of mine that I used to go to college with. He always like keeps me grounded. But as for like a piece of advice that I have for someone coming up, and just for like discipline and everything like that, is just to start, just get it going.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing is just to start it and to take a step forward. You know what I'm saying? Always forward. Mm-hmm. Keep making it doesn't matter, if it's a small step forward, or big leaps. You could be like me and jump headfirst into like something, into bodybuilding and love it. Or you could be small and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna clean up, this stuff from my food, or I'm going to, stop drinking sodas or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Small things like that.
Right.
But as far as like on the career aspect, like that I'm on, advice would be, to just keep, to stay the course, mm-hmm. just stay the course on what you're doing. Even when you feel like it like nothing's like happening, like if you keep on your path and you do the work, you stay patient and you stay mindful, consistent, and show up and do the work, then everything else will take care of itself. Yeah. Definitely, just stay the course.
And don't blame your genetics.
Yeah, and don't blame your genetics. Just show up. Half the battle is showing up.
Exactly.
Like that's like the gym. Half the battle is getting there. Yeah. You're there now. Put in the work. Half the battle for in the classes is showing up.
Yep.
Now you're in class. Now do the work.
Exactly.
And half the battle in life is, for me, in my perspective, is just showing up every day.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up. You get to wake up. You get to wake up. You know.
Yeah.
You get to wake up. Now show up and do the work. Just do the work of life. You know?
And I love that saying, rejection. What is it? Rejection leads to redirection.
Yeah, any rejection is a redirection.
Redirection. Yeah, I love that because like I always tell myself that too.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, not in those words, but like
and
somewhere, you know, along the line.
manner.
Because it's like I'm always like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? I had someone tell me because this guy, he's like, he knows his like money situation. He works at a bank. Like he's like a CEO of a school and all this kind of stuff. Like he knows his way with money. And I was like, okay, I need to like bounce some like ideas off of him and stuff like about my business. He was like, so we sat down and he was like, man, you're thinking way too big. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, I've been thinking about this for months and you're just going to sit there and tell me I'm thinking way too big, you know? But then he was like, yeah, you need to shrink it down. And I kept saying stuff. And I was like, website. He was like, yeah, start with a website. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, I'm starting with that. And then, you know, it's hard because the way social media is, you know, it has the whole algorithm situation and, you know, people barely seeing my stuff or whatever.
Yeah, which is wild, dude, because you can have, you know, 12K followers and you're only getting like not even half of those people are seeing your stuff.
Yeah, even if you're posting at the prime time of the day and you're posting multiple times a day, blah blah blah, like only some amount of people are gonna see your things. Yeah. You know, so it's tough doing that. But that's why I keep telling myself, I'm like, that's not the end all be all. I just gotta keep doing it. Keep doing it. You know, and then eventually something's gonna hit.
Exactly. You know, how many people they call overnight successes, you know what I'm saying? But they've been in whatever craft they've been doing it for like 10 years. Right. You know, but then all of a sudden they blow up and it's like, oh, you were an overnight success. It's like, dude, this person's been doing it for, 6+ years.
Well, it's like I listen to like a bunch of comedians podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah. They all talk about doing it for 20+ years. Like this one dude I listened to he's been doing it 20 years and he's just now getting big. Yeah. And his stand-up, his podcast, and all this kind of stuff is just blowing up. Yeah. He's like, you don't understand. I've been doing this 20+ years. Mm-hmm.
And to clarify, when I say like, like a rejection is like a redirection, like the comedian, like I'm pretty sure they got rejected to do like certain gigs and things like that, but they didn't switch from doing comedy to something else. They probably the only redirection they made was, okay, well, how do I change my approach? Yeah. So when I say like a redirection, doesn't mean if I lose a bodybuilding show, I'm going to quit bodybuilding. Yeah, it means no, like, all right, well, how do I, redirect myself to get to where I want to go?
To get better, right?
To get better, yeah. So it's not like, this is it. I'm going to redirect myself to, go sell insurance or something like that. It's like, it's like, okay, well, this happened. I may have lost like a show or something like that, or I didn't get the result that I wanted. Right. Okay, but how do I redirect myself to get that result? Yeah. What can I do? So that's what I mean by that. And it's something that that has been resonating with me deeply, and I think you can like kind of translate into relationships, business, anything, academics, anything, sports. That like, hey, like any type of like any type of rejection is just a redirection.
And you know what I love about it is that it's not even something that you'll even think about doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I started bodybuilding, wanted to become a pro. Yeah. And I would never have imagined I would end up right here doing this.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's like so weird that like I have to remind myself about that. Yeah. Because like my friend's like, he's like, 5 years ago, I never would have thought, I would be like, he's like coaching people now. You know what I'm saying? He was like, dude, like, I never would have thought I'd be like coaching people. Like, I thought I was going to be like a person in, the person that's in the game, like that's doing, the work of, bodybuilding, like the athlete, not, bodybuilding the coach. Right. So, and he's good at it. You know what I'm saying? That's my homie Kyle who does my training. Yeah. He started off as a bodybuilder and, was always like a trainer, But now he's like exclusively just training people, doing lifestyle changes and things like that.
Is he the one that worked with Fred? Is that the same Kyle? Okay,
yeah.
I know him. Yeah,
you know Kyle. Yeah,
I was like, I recognize that name. I don't know if it's the same dude. Oh, okay.
That's a homie, man. He's good. Kicks my ass in the gym.
That's good, man.
So yeah, bro. Like,
is he boxing? I saw him. He was getting into boxing.
He was boxing a little bit.
Okay.
He was boxing. So, but now he's just focusing on his personal training.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. Well, man, I appreciate you coming and give us some good words of advice and stuff like that. And then,
always, dude. I'm
a deep thinker. Really appreciate it, man.
Of course,
really appreciate it.
I thank you for having me on, man. Like, I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of, for you to get to know me more outside of bodybuilding, outside of like the social media, for the people that get to see this, people that get to listen, to who I am and learn more about me. And what I'm saying, just come on, and I'm more than just a big physique.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's always cool to be able to put that out there.
Exactly.
So I appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Where can people find you at?
Right now I'm just on Instagram at Carlos CARLOS _ Thomas THOMAS Jr. So then just JR. So that's my my Instagram handle, Carlos _ Thomas Jr. So you can follow me and follow my journey coming up, because we're gonna start posting some pretty wicked workouts with my boy Kyle, so you want to learn some cool things about bodybuilding and training, come follow me. But if you want to kind of see a different approach to how to live life and from the mental aspect, I do post a lot of motivational quotes and put up a lot of inspirational captions as well. You know what I'm saying? If you do want that if you want that part of the social media. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.